You are strapped into a 3,400-pound stock car, doing 130 miles an hour toward a braking zone. Your left foot is already on the brake pedal, because that is what every Cup Series driver has been taught for the last 3 decades. That is what wins races. Then the car next to you brakes 40 feet later, rotates through the corner like it is on rails, and is already back on the throttle before you have even turned the wheel. Same car, same tires, same brake pressure, according to the data. So why does his lap look like it belongs to a different sport? This is not a talent gap. This is a technique NASCAR never planned for. Every team has the same telemetry. Every engineer can pull up the same brake trace after the race. Nothing is hidden, and yet nobody can reproduce it. That contradiction is where this story starts. One driver, 6 wins in the last 7 road course races, barely a full season in the Cup Series, and he is already rewriting what a lap looks like. His name is Shane Van Gisbergen. Inside the garage, drivers are not calling his pace talent anymore. They are calling it something they cannot copy, something close to uncanny. And now there is a rumor moving through the paddock that NASCAR could rewrite its own rulebook just to slow him down. Before we get to how, here is something worth pausing on. If you are new to this channel, this is NASCAR Voltage, and we are closing in on 500 subscribers. If breakdowns like this, the ones that actually explain why a driver is faster instead of just showing highlights, are useful to you, hitting subscribe costs nothing and helps this channel keep making them. Your support genuinely decides whether more of these get made, so thank you for being here. Now, the secret hiding in Van Gisbergen's footwell. Every modern Cup Series car uses a sequential gearbox that does not need the clutch mid-shift. That single piece of engineering changed how an entire generation of drivers uses their feet. For the past 3 decades, left foot braking has been the standard, because the clutch simply is not needed anymore. Van Gisbergen never learned that system. He learned something older. "I don't know what's to tell," Van Gisbergen said in an interview with NBC Sports' Lee Diffie. "It's normal to me. I always right foot brake and heel toe. It's what I've grown up doing." He added that he only picked up left foot braking last year, in a rally car. On screen, the technique finally gets a name: heel toe. It uses the right foot to control both the brake and the accelerator at once, while the left foot works the clutch for gear changes. Sports journalist Gautam, writing for the Sports Rush, described it as a method where Van Gisbergen brakes and flicks the throttle simultaneously with one foot, smoothing every downshift through a corner. It sounds like a discovery. It is actually a ghost. In the 1980s, heel-toe braking was standard practice in NASCAR, used by drivers like Ricky Rudd and Bobby Allison, before transmission technology made the clutch unnecessary and pushed the technique out of the sport entirely. Van Gisbergen is not inventing something new. He is beating 2026 stock cars with a method NASCAR itself buried more than 30 years ago, and that is only the surface. Because heel-toe braking is not one advantage, it is 3, stacked into a single motion, and the next one is about to explain why NASCAR's own telemetry system can watch every second of it happen and still not stop it. Heel-toe braking is not one advantage, it is 3, stacked into a single motion. Weapon 1, tire preservation. Using the clutch through the braking zone disconnects the engine's shock from the rear wheels, which spares tire wear that left-foot brakers burn away lap after lap. Weapon 2, rotation. Van Gisbergen has explained that releasing the clutch as he turns into a corner helps the car rotate underneath him, cutting the car into the apex instead of pushing through it. Weapon 3, seamless downshifts. Every gear change is rev-matched by hand, with no destabilizing jolt through the chassis, which means more speed carried out of every corner exit. Here is the part that should unsettle every team on pit road. NASCAR's own SMT telemetry system shows every competitor the exact brake trace, clutch input, and throttle timing Van Gisbergen produces lap by lap. The recipe is public, nobody can cook the dish. Christopher Bell put it plainly to NBC Sports, "I wouldn't even know where to begin." He added that mastering it would likely take a long time and would be an easy way to make a costly mistake. Kevin Harvick, a Cup Series veteran since 2000, said drivers who master heel-toe can modulate the brake with the clutch and be able to just do so much more in the braking zone. Dale Earnhardt Jr., breaking it down on his own podcast, has argued that no driver currently in the Cup Series field could realistically pick up and truly master the technique at this stage of their careers. Then there is the lighter moment. During a Cup race broadcast at COTA, the Fox footcam cut to Van Gisbergen's pedal work, and Corey LaJoie joked on social media that he would pay for a subscription just to watch it. Van Gisbergen fired back within hours, telling LaJoie that NASCAR was already showing it for free. Even Ross Chastain, his own teammate, has conceded that catching up to it is not realistic in the short term. The whole garage has the answer key and still can't pass the test. If you're finding this breakdown useful, this is where a comment actually helps. Tell me which driver you think comes closest to figuring this out, and share this with a NASCAR fan who still thinks heel toe is just a foot gimmick. History shows NASCAR's rulebook grows every time one driver finds something nobody else can touch. 3 fixes are reportedly circulating. A standardized pedal box could physically block the stance heel toe requires. Removing in-race clutch use entirely is already technically possible, since the next-gen car's sequential gearbox does not need it to shift, and differential changes could matter most of all. Van Gisbergen has pointed out that supercars' locked rear differential is what forced him to master this style in the first place. Cup's more open differential makes heel toe a bonus, not a necessity. Change the diff, and the whole equation shifts. NASCAR has not officially confirmed any of this. The garage has split into 2 camps. Let him win. Traditionalists see heel toe as a lost art coming home, and punishing him for mastering an old skill feels unsportsmanlike. Level the field advocates argue NASCAR's job is competitive balance, and a gap nobody can close, no matter how hard they train, demands intervention. There is one wild card. Xfinity Series rookie Connor Zilisch has already beaten Van Gisbergen head-to-head. Is that the field catching up, or one result that means nothing? So next time you watch him break turn 1, ask yourself, are you watching a genius, or are you watching a loophole? Inside NASCAR's rulebook meetings, nobody has an answer yet. Neither do we.